I'm going to introduce one of our graduates who I had the honor to work with closely this year, Lauryn Mosby. Lauryn is that rare young person who's wise and mature beyond her years and was just a joy to work with. She'll be giving us some words live, but before that, let's get to know her a little better. Here's Lauryn.
Without college round, you don't get ACT prep. You don't get like personal statements like reread. You don't get help with your scholarships, like stuff that you don't realize you need. You get that from college round. I know that I can always call my coaches, even my old coaches, like if I ever needed advice or just encouragement. I feel like my Teresa was like my guardian angel. At times when I feel like kind of discouraged, I knew that my Teresa would be there. And I think my newest coach, Lynn, is amazing because she's so like soft and just like really welcoming, and she's just like really sweet. So I have 3 brothers and they all went to Mizzou, and my oldest brother Jared was 21 and he was a senior in college when he was murdered visiting home for Christmas break. At first his death was very hard to deal with, but like now I feel like after hearing people talk about their experience with him and just like the impact he made on people at Mizzou and even like across the country, it just really made me realize that like life is really short, and so it's very important to make a good impact on as many people as you can, because you really never know when like today may be your last day. Really, it's like a family, and it's like no other scholarship program that I've ever been a part of, because it's way more personal. And I know like aside from the money that they send our school, we also have way more like resources and just access to different things outside of that. The Winter Hillman dinner is something that they throw every year. I got to connect and just like bounce ideas and really talk to the medical professionals at the table who I didn't know before the dinner. And so during this time, like I was really connecting with Mr. Rich. Back then, he was the CMO of Barnes, which now he's the CEO of Barnes. Fast forward 2 months, and I was picked to be an intern at the Berman Institute of Bioethics at Johns Hopkins. And so I just emailed him one day, and I'm like, I know you told me to reach out if I ever needed anything. I'm at Johns Hopkins. Do you happen to know a doctor that wouldn't mind talking to me for like 30 minutes? And so he emailed me right back, and he was like, oh, my best friend is the president of Johns Hopkins, like their medical system. And we ended up meeting with Mr. Sowers at Johns Hopkins, which is great. It's hard to think about my favorite class because I can always think about my least favorite, which is definitely organic chemistry. Didn't like it. I had to take it twice, organic 1 and 2, and lab, which is kind of 3, but you take 2 and lab at the same time. So I didn't like it at all. I finished organic chemistry 2 with the A. I don't know how I did it considering I hated every second of it, but it ended up being great. So first, I really want to thank all of you for being here tonight to listen to my story. Tonight, I really want to focus on what it means to me that so many people and organizations have really poured into me over time. And when I say poured into, what I mean is the time, the focus, and the care that you all have invested in me and in my future. My siblings were the first to really pour into me because I am the youngest. My pediatricians, Dr. Shafiq and Dr. Shanaz Ahmad, also were great at really pouring into me as medical providers, but also as amazing role models for what I hope to become one day. College Round also pours into every student in the program. And for me, my College Round coaches are always there just at the right time. And when class and life were difficult and I would consider dropping a course or skipping one, my College Round coach would always say, pause, let's get a tutor. I'm sure we can find you a good one, and let's really evaluate your priorities and what you want to achieve. And I will always leave those conversations just feeling so grateful and confident for the time that we talked. College Round is the reason that I achieved a 27 on the ACT, and why I was also able to find $9,000 and a paid lab internship at my school so that I can graduate in just 3 years. If I weren't in College Round, I would have never taken summer courses at WashU, and I also wouldn't be a Hillman Scholar. The Hillman Scholars Program is so much more than just a check that they write to my school and we never speak again. Jennifer and Tom Hillman, they really pour into every student in their program by exposing us to their personal networks. I know that they are fully committed to my success. And like the story that I told about meeting the Lightwigs, and just how that relationship has allowed me to make even more connections, it really made me realize that connections are how the world works. I left that dinner with multiple business cards that I put on my vision board as motivation. Following up with Dr. Lynch and Dr. Jackie Martin left me feeling even more confident and even more excited for what I will become in the future. But this positive emotion eventually made me feel sort of guilty. Before he tragically died, I know how much my older brother Jared wanted to really be successful, and how badly all of those students that I've gotten to volunteer with also wanted to do the same. However, they weren't in the room with me, and I can't give them all of the business cards that I've collected over time. But in this emotional moment, that's when I began to brainstorm how I could personally help them so that they could feel this same positive emotion that I felt at the Hillman dinner. And that's when I created Ask Jared. The name comes from all of the times when I would go to my mom asking for help with things like new math, and she would always say, you know, you really could ask Jared. I looked up to my older brother even then, and I still look up to him now. As a senior he was a senior at Mizzou who also got a high score on the ACT, and he was always there at the right time. I made this organization in honor of my brother's memory so that I could do for others what that night in the Clark Fox Forum did for me. To connect them with people who I know personally will help them to achieve their goals. Ask Jared allows me to give those students that I have met from all over the world the chance to be poured into just as I have been before. This organization allows me to really give them a seat at the table as long as they are willing to mentor and be mentored by someone else. So thank you to all of you here tonight in support of me and in support of College Round. My name is Lauryn Mosby, and I am a graduate from the one and only Howard University with a Bachelor of Science in Biology and a minor in Chemistry, along with continuing to grow Ask Jared to help students from all over this country. I will also be studying for the MCAT in hopes of starting medical school next fall. Stay safe, and thank you.